Hello, Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Classics Show. I am your host, Sharpen. As always, it's a pleasure to be here, to be able to discuss literature with you, to be able to discuss books, those books that have made an impact on our lives, you know, the ones that have really meant something to us. Now, today, we're going to talk about a book that is something that has really benefited people in their everyday life, as in personal grooming, helping them in the professional field, and also in their personal capacity as well. The book that we're going to talk about today is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and this was written by Stephen R. Covey. It was an international bestseller. It was, we had 20 million copies sold worldwide. And to talk about today's book, we have a very relevant guest. And our guest today is Mr. Ahmad Fuad, who is a corporate training specialist. Welcome to the program. Okay, now, you know, this has been a book that has been phenomenal. It is something that has really taken readers by storm. It's helped so many people. How would you say that this book has helped you?
Actually, I have been introduced to this book for last many years. It was written in 1989. So when I first time got introduced to this book, it was, I think, 99 or 2000. And I was a struggling young man. You know, I was searching for a career advice. I wanted to become an international cricketer in in my teenage. And then I was actually visiting different universities and colleges and people particularly to get advice about my career, because I do not have any background of professional sports. None of my family or friends were professional sportsmen. And most of the people, unfortunately, I would say I am part of a family who are writers and authors, and unfortunately, none of them was a cricketer.
Okay, so you didn't get that advice that you really were craving for.
Exactly. And they were actually telling me not to play cricket, because most of the people who were playing in those days were not educated enough, and they were not being considered as successful people. So one of my friends told me to read this book. I went to Halka Babe Zok and talked to different people from where would I get it, and someone told me to visit a bookstore where, you know, highly expensive books were being you know. So I visited different places and went for a window shopping, got this book, read it and found it really good. Can you believe, Shabnam, it's been now good 16, 17 years now, and I'm still haunted by the book. I'm still reading it.
And that is such a success for the author itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
to have a book, to have something that can so profoundly change a person's life for the better.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And why is it so? Interestingly, recently I have discovered Stephen is talking about habits, not the characteristics. He is not talking about any skill set to have. He is talking about habits. And habits is something we must understand the significance of having a good or bad habit.
Now, that is exactly such an important point that you have made there, and that's something I really wanted to talk about. The things we hear from, you know, grown-ups, from parents, from grandmothers, grandfathers, wake up early, go to sleep on time, eat properly, get exercise, this, that, and the other. Lots of common sense, that all that wisdom is coming down through the ages, and those are the habits that are being talked about.
Yeah, and interestingly, most of the parents tell us stop, you know, biting our nails, and we still keep on doing it. We want to stop it. We want to give up this habit, but we don't, because it has become a habit. We do it unintentionally. You know, there are 4 different stages of starting and having a habit, and having an, you know, activity, and doing it as a habit. I recently met, not recently, 6, 8 months ago, I met Brian Tracy. He was talking exactly same. He was saying you cannot actually change a habit, you simply replace it. You are doing something and you stop doing, and you do it intentionally, consciously you are doing it. And then automatically over the period of 21 to 90 days, within 21 to 90 days, it becomes a habit. So you need to be very conscious about it, what you are doing. You need to understand your behaviors. You need to write down everything you do in a particular day. You get up at let's say 9 o'clock, and what do you do after getting up? So there are details of every moment.
That's
Of
so
your
true,
moment.
because it's so easy to fall into habit
Yeah.
with something that you really didn't realize you were doing. And then until some time passes, you realize that, oh God, this is something that I have become used to doing. And that's exactly what habits are about. So if we talk about, you know, the way Stephen Covey has approached this book and the way he's laid out, it's very, of course, it's self-explanatory, 7 effective habits. There are 7 habits of highly effective people. Okay. So the first habit that he's talking about is be proactive.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
It's very, very, very important. Today, you know, we are living in a world where information are very much available on our phones. Employees are being laid off because of this very phone. People are losing their jobs. Why they're losing their job? I've been working recently in corporate sector, and I was telling people those all characteristics or activities which you have been performing over the years for last 10 years are no more required.
Absolutely.
Robots are replacing you. You know, e-books are replacing a published book somehow. So you need to understand what the future is all about. You need to see your future at first. So this is exactly what he is talking about. You should know what your future is, what the world will look like after 5 years, and what you should be doing it in that changed world. So if we are having a smartphone, we are living in a world where smartphones are part of routine life. We cannot live without it. We can access information. So where your need is, where you are required. So why should you be staying relevant to the world? You know,
Exactly.
in
Adaptability.
Adaptability. In 2000, 5,000 employees were laid off overnight from the banking sector. Why? Because computer replaced them. So 5,000 employees were laid off. They could not get another job. Most of them could not get another other job. One of my friend's father got heart attack because of that sudden, they got a letter in Monday morning. They went to the job and got a letter that you were no more required. So
Right.
this is what happened, and she was crying, of course. He was his father, and
Terrible.
I listened to her patiently and told her, I said, girl, please don't mind. But maybe he was not anticipating the future.
Yeah.
Computer
So
was
being
there.
prepared is, you
Yeah.
know, something that, you know, is very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to continue this discussion. Right now we're going for a break. We'll be back. Stay with us. Okay, welcome back to the program, and we're discussing a book that is really, really important, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So you want to listen to this and you want to understand, you know, what is it that can make me a highly effective person, because there's so many of us who have so many skills and we're not able to channelize that energy in the right direction. Now, Fawad, as you were telling us, we were talking about the first habit that the author has talked about, being proactive.
Yeah.
And you said that, you know, the problem of people not making themselves current and up to date
Exactly.
with what is the need of the moment.
Yeah, you're right. Look, the world is changing with every passing day. Shabnam, right now the current problem is this: the world is changing with the speed of light, I must say.
Yeah.
It is no more 1950 or even no more 1970s. It is 2017. If you go to a university or a college and you talk to a young professional, and you find yourself dumb enough not to be able to talk to them. You struggle with your knowledge, you struggle with your skills. You think that we are already outdated. In your 40s, and even if you are into your 30s, you think that we have done our job. And these young children, these teenagers should come and hold on to the future. But the point I wanted to make is, if you want to relevant to this world, as long as you die. I was attending a conference of HR department recently. They were telling us that the people who are into their 30s and 40s right now will be living for next more 60 years. There is a study, right? So I don't know what is in store, but if we are going to live for next 60 years and we don't update ourselves, how would we be able to live?
Exactly.
We meet a lot of people who are irrelevant today. We don't consult, we don't talk to them, we even, it looks a little rude, but parents who have not updated themselves, they are into their 40s or they are into their 70s, they are irrelevant. You respect them because they're your parents, but you don't look up to them. You don't go to them to, you know, get some information and get some knowledge, because they have made themselves irrelevant to this world. So what Stephen talks about is he wants you to stay relevant to the world. You are living in the world and you should stay relevant. This is only possible if you are proactive. You see how the world will you know, do with you, and how it makes you feel uncomfortable today, but makes you relevant.
Exactly. And another thing is that, you know, rather than being the reactionary figure,
Yeah.
be the action man, so
Yeah.
to speak.
True.
You know,
True.
you should be the one making something happen. If you're just sitting around waiting for things to happen to you, well, that's, as we just described.
And that is why he's saying make it a habit. Get up early in the morning, every day. Get up every day and be proactive. You should anticipate the day you are going to spend today. You know, you get up at 7 o'clock, you get up 6 o'clock, and you should write down what the day will look like. Maybe at the end of the day, you will be writing another line and you will be telling yourself what you have achieved. So that is what makes you proactive, that you are anticipating the future. You don't go far and away. Don't plan for 70 next years, 60 years. Plan for today. Be proactive. Look at the world. You know, the world is changing. As Iqbal has said, ये कायनात अभी नातमाम है शायद, क्या आ रही है दमादम सदाए कुन फायकुन. The world is changing. It is developing. It is increasing with every passing day, and you have the room to live in this world, but you need to stay relevant.
And you need to find that place where, you know, because that's a very important thing as well. He also says be proactive, focus on spending your energy on the things that you can control.
Yeah.
I think that is really important as
That's
well, isn't it? We spend endless energy, if it's not just emotional, mental, on worrying about those things that we can't change, and they are taking a lot of you know, aptitude away from you.
That's right. You know, there are, it's a study that 70% of the total things that actually happen to you are not the ones you can change. 30% of the ones that you can change. But you keep talking about those 70%.
Exactly.
Why are you spending your energy on those 70% which are actually draining you out? You need to talk about, you need to talk and keep talking to the people, to the relevant people about those issues that you can address. Simple. You don't need to talk about, let's take it this way, that there's, we talk a lot about political scenarios, right?
Oh,
and
yes.
I always.
We love doing this as a
every day.
nation, yes.
Yeah, and
definitely.
every day. And I keep on telling you what is wrong with this nation, that's a typical word we use. This nation has this problem, this nation, we are telling, who makes it a nation? It's you.
Exactly.
And if you are speaking truth, and if you are positive, you are doing your job, that makes you relevant and positive, and you are doing your part. That is where you can
Absolutely
control.
true.
So you need to focus about your role, not about the political parties and this whole stuff.
Very true. that is, yeah, very good advice. Okay, now the second habit, I thought this is very, very interesting. This is something we never think about. I mean, maybe some people do. I certainly haven't ever, you know, implemented this habit. Begin with the end in mind. And in this, the author says, which is very vivid imagery, isn't it? Imagine your own funeral. Imagine your own funeral, imagine the people there and what they're saying about you and what you would actually like to be remembered by. That is something that really is a disturbing thought, isn't it?
Shabnam, 92% of the ideas that an employee give to his senior or management are binned, are into the dustbin because they are half-baked ideas. I think I can change this entire, you know, corporation, this organization, and I come to you, I tell you a lot of ideas, and you will be talking about end result. What will happen if we do it? And if I'm speechless, you'll ask me to go. You will ask me to leave. And then I'll be having that negative, self-talk that that this person is not capable, and this person is on the chair which he or she doesn't deserve. This is the basic requirement of doing anything you are going to plan. You are trying to write a book, ask a writer. Simple. I'm into writing for long. Ask a writer. When he starts writing a short story, he keeps that punchline in mind at first and then develops the story.
You're absolutely right, because I write poetry as well, and I exactly follow the same thing, that at the beginning of the poem, I will know what what I want to say in the end.
Exactly.
That's absolutely true.
So you need to follow that habit. You need to know, you need to actually be mindful about it. If you're writing a poem and you don't know where it will be concluded, is it of any use?
No.
It will not work for you, it will not work for your readers.
And in fact, the reader will understand that this has just developed with some sort of random thought and hasn't really gone anywhere.
Exactly, exactly. So this is exactly what is required by the corporate, by your life. You want to close your life. Where exactly do you want to go? We do an activity with our trainees. I tell them to tell a story. As if I am a child of 10 years old, I'm a 10 years old child, and you are in your 80s or 90s, and tell me your success story. How did you spend your life? What was good about it? What was bad about it? How did you face the challenges? What did you do actually as a successful human? And most of the people are lost.
That must really shock a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because again, you see what the author has done here. It's very intelligent. He's made you question things, and he's made you alter the perspective on the natural flows, so to speak, of life as you take it.
Exactly.
Because it's so easy to become complacent. It's so easy to be in your comfort zone. And I think the main thing that he's talking about is to step out of that comfort zone.
And above all, he wants you to be ready for the challenges. Let's say if I'm a 17-year-old young man, and I'm telling a story to my child that I have been facing these problems, these issues, my relatives, my leg pullers, my colleagues, and this also, that is why I'm not successful. Is it a story you would like to tell your children? No.
So true.
You will tell another story. I have been having these challenges, I have faced them, I have been positive, I have been confident, blah, 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 and then you can see I'm a successful human. You can follow me. So if you are having this in mind, this end in mind, in your mind today, you'll be planning according to it, and you will not be drained with the negativity you are having around.
Oh, and that is such an important thing, negativity, to get rid of negativity, because I find that, in the political scenarios that we live in and whatever happens, we tend to dwell on the negative, which is again very, very, it's not something you want to do. Habit number 3.
Simple is, if I could just, simple is that develop a habit of having a self-talk. Tell yourself that you need to do something positive today. We find, as we have been talking about on Facebook, on Twitter, and this nation has done wrong. This is wrong with us. We Pakistanis, I don't stop at the signal.
The amount of arguments and debates and discussions.
And whenever I do something wrong, I tell myself I'm a Pakistani. That is, I broke the signal. I left this. So I want people to talk positive about themselves, about their nation, about themselves. That I am a Pakistani. That is why I stopped over a signal. I am truthful to you because I am Pakistani, and this is exactly what Japanese did after Second World War. So have a habit of having maximum self-talk, positive self-talk to yourself.
Because positivity breeds positivity, and it's just like The Secret, the best-selling book that was written, and in it the author explains the power of positivity and how it creates this magnet for more positive things coming your way. Absolutely true. Now, habit number 3. I really like this one because I struggle with this personally. Put first things first. Priorities. To understand what you should actually be dealing with first, and to have the first issue or challenge or whatever you need to resolve at that moment.
First of all, you need to know, Shabnam, that it is a study that usually 3 to 4 hours of a day are productive ones for a professional. not more than 4 hours. That is why West is now going
considering
to have,
on shortening their hours, yeah.
Exactly. More breaks. After every 20 minutes, there should be a break of 5 to 10 minutes, and then you should be, start doing your work. About this one, what we do, what most of the times we do, and most of the people would agree to this, we take our smartphone out of our pockets, log into Facebook, and you're gone.
Yeah.
It's over. You use, on an average, you use 25 to 30 minutes on Facebook, and you get to know that you have done nothing. You haven't even updated the status. You have just been stacking, you have just been looking at others' profiles. So what exactly happens to you? You have done absolutely nothing. I have recently read some other habits of highly effective people that they have dedicated 10 minutes after every 4 hours to their smartphones.
Ah.
They check Facebook, they check Twitter,
Just
they check
10 minutes?
emails. Yeah,
After
every 4 hours.
Oh,
They
wow.
don't respond to the emails even. I read an article a couple of years ago. There was written that successful people respond to the emails within 10 minutes. It was an old study. I read it recently.
But this is another problem, studies, all of a sudden you'll have a study that says something, and then you'll have another one that overlaps that one and says, no, okay, forget what we said before. And then
But you need to stick to the one that suits you, your success.
Yeah.
There are different stories. Of course, you cannot listen to everyone. You cannot follow everyone. But you need to know which suits your personality type. Maybe you're emotional and you, from negative comments, you are already always switched off. If you tell me you are a bad human, I'll switch off myself and it will not work the whole day. So I need to know my personality type, that I'm emotional enough and I'll be responding to such events and kill myself, of course, after such comments. So I should tell you, Shabnam, please hold on. I'll listen to you in the evening and then I'll go back home and consider your comments. So this is what Stephen is talking about is you should know what is required and you should be focusing more on that.
Yeah.
You should have
the urgent from the not urgent, the important from the not important.
Exactly. You should know your even your friends who are telling you stories, and you should have courage to say no to them. Please stop, hold on.
Now that is a big thing, being able to say no.
Yeah.
Because I find that is a huge challenge for some people. We'll talk about that one later as well. Habit number 4, think win-win. That's a good one. But how many people do you know that think that way? Well, you obviously must do after you've read the book and you're training this way. But when you come across people, do you really find people are thinking this way, even talented people?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
But very few,
Very
I
few.
must say. Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes from home,
very
Shabnam.
true.
If your parents are telling you to help your brothers and sisters, if your brother is helping you and your sister is helping you, you'll be having having a habit of helping others. So if you're having a habit of helping others, you will think win-win. I am coming to this point and you should be coming here and we'll be share, whatever we win, we get out of it.
Fantastic.
So I personally think, and I tell people, if you don't have this habit, develop it. You can have it. You can talk to, you can facilitate your people. You can facilitate, don't facilitate a lot of people. You facilitate your brothers and sisters and parents. Tell them I'm good human and we'll get a better house if we help each other.
Yeah.
So this is the thought we need to have, even in corporate sector. Problem with the corporate sector or the professional world is, Shabnam, that we have KPIs, right? Key performance indicators. I and you are working on the same scale with same salary, and we have a boss who tells us to perform well, right? Who tells us, he is telling you to perform well, and he is telling me to perform well. At the end of the year, the best one will be picked and given more salary than the other one. That's actually win-loss habit. So what we need to do, I should talk to you. If you are helping me out, I'll be helping you out, of course. It will be a culture. One of our trainers, Ramiz Alawala would always say, there is a culture of, there is high trust culture and there is low trust culture. If you trust your friends, they'll trust you. If you don't trust them, they won't trust you.
That's so true.
And this high trust environment is a win-win situation, win for everyone.
Which is actually, you know, quite surprising when you talk about competitive, highly competitive professions, because there people eye each other as competitors, as rivals.
Exactly. That's the world has come to the conclusion that collaboration is more important than competition. They believe that two skilled professionals, two good humans, if they work together, can achieve more than individuals.
More productivity.
Yeah.
As human beings, are we too self-critical?
Not really. We like those who appreciate us, but you know there are two types of feedback. I should know how to feedback you. One is sandwich approach. I tell you to be good. You are a good human, but you need to improve. If I talk about you as a general, in a generic term, I would say, yeah, overall you are a good human. So you will be thinking that I don't need to improve a lot because everyone has some
I've
problems.
got that validation now, so that's okay.
Exactly. That's a sandwich feedback approach, which is not recommended to the elders. We can use it with the children. We can tell them, you're a good human, you're a good child, you're decent, polite, but you need to improve it. And he'll buy it. But with the elders, with the seniors, you need to have
the wiser people.
Yeah, the wiser people. Somehow who feel that they're wise. So you need to be very constructive and direct. You need to tell what to improve. Simple. And the recipient should also be mature enough to take it. If, you know, so this is very important for the seniors, for the elder ones, that they should take feedback positively.
Oh no, that's a huge challenge, isn't it? To be able to do. How many people are able to respond to, you know, positive criticism? It's quite a challenge.
Don't hate yourself. Usually people start hating themselves when they receive a negative feedback.
That's true.
When they receive a criticism, critique. So they need to stay positive. Yes, I have some problems and I need to struggle. To change it, I need to develop a habit. Which habit will help me? That I need to discuss and ask. That's it.
Right. Habit number 5, I like this one. Seek first to understand, then be understood.
Yeah.
I mean, that is really, really something that is so, and you're saying that this came out in 1989.
Yeah.
This is so relevant nowadays. I mean, everything that is being talked about right now. I would say, if not at that time, it's even more relevant now. When we talk about tolerance, when we talk about prejudices, when we talk about, you know, being empathy, which are very, very important things in a person's life. How much do we have the patience to sit and try and understand somebody else's point of view?
People are different. They are not difficult, they say. So you are living at a place with your friends, with your sisters and brothers, but you are different from them. Everyone is different from the other one. That's a simple rule. You are unique. That is what the Almighty has already said. You are unique. You will not be reproduced. So you are different. That is what I need to understand. You are...
And respect that.
Yes, and respect that. If I don't understand and respect that, I'll be reactive. I'll tell you, you are not understanding. Problem is with you, not me. You need to understand me first and then respond to...
And not only that, you're wrong and I'm right.
Yeah, of course. and then this is what we call game on, you know. Argument stays away, the problem stays away. You don't talk about the problem anymore and you start proving that you are wrong and I'm right.
It all becomes so personal.
Yeah, exactly. So that is where you need to understand first and then try to be understood, because it is a tough task. It is a tough task. You know, I was reading recently MBTI test, Myers-Briggs type indicators. There are 16 types of personalities in the world. You are emotional, you are logical, you know, you are extrovert, you are introvert. If I am an introvert and I prefer to stay quiet, that doesn't mean I'm rude.
Yeah, very true.
And if I'm extrovert, that doesn't mean I'm talkative, I'm bad. It's not like that. If I'm extrovert and I am enjoying talking, let me enjoy it. Right? You are introvert, you are enjoying your silence, enjoy it. Why should you criticize me of being talkative? You know? And the other part is, if I'm taking the life with the emotions into the events, there is no wrong in it.
Okay, now, you know, we're talking about this, but, and this is an international author who's written this. What about the relevance of this? I was going to ask you this question at the end, but I'm going to ask you this now, is the relevance in our culture. Because what you've just, you know, said, everyone is unique, everyone is different. How much is that respected in a household? In our society, in our fabric? I don't really think so, because people will be very, family members will be very quick to criticize. Oh, him or her, you know, she just sits in her room all day and she doesn't want to talk to anybody. She's just reading books. Why aren't you like your sister?
Yeah, you're right. We need to follow 2-3 golden things which the Holy Book has recommended, and which most of the successful people do. As he said, try to understand, and then we understood. Afala yatadabbarun, afala yatafakkarun. Look at the world, observe the world, observe the universe. While observing, you don't comment. You observe first. You are a writer, you know. We observe first, and then we, you know, process the information. We digest, and then we write.
Observe and absorb.
Observe and absorb. Yes, this is exactly what we need to do when we are living with the people. Don't comment. Hold on, you know, wait for a while.
That's so true. We're so quick to jump to judgment.
Exactly, and that is where the problem lies. And if you comment and you throw a comment to me, and I'll take it as my responsibility to respond you back with the same comment,
and
with same energy.
And there's round one for you.
Yeah, of course.
That's true. That's true.
But we need to develop a habit of reading, Shabnam. We have been talking recently that if these things are relevant to us, what I was talking about offline is we don't have a habit of reading. We need to develop it. Reading and then discussing the book. This is very important. Ottomans have been doing it. Romans have been doing it. I was recently reading 23 recommended books by Mark Zuckerberg. It was unbelievable. I'm into corporate sector. I told a few days back to my friend that you should read some books. And he reacted, I must say, immediately. Come on, who reads books nowadays?
Who reads books, yeah.
I
That's
told
so
him,
sad, isn't it? Yeah.
I told him, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, billionaire, because he reads books. And
Now
he
will
has
you read a book?
recommended, he has recommended 23 books, and the best one, top of the all, was Muqaddimah Ibn Khaldun. He said this book connects me to both the worlds. The world I haven't seen, the world I'm living in, and the world that is coming after me. So, and it helps me develop a better Facebook. So you need to develop this habit, and if you are developing this habit, you'll be having better people in your life and in your, you know, office.
Right. Habit number 6, synergize. Oh wow, that's a hard one. That's a tough one, isn't it?
That is.
It's how do we develop this art of synergizing with our environment, with people around us?
Yeah, difference between win-win and synergize is you and I have common goals, right? And we can have that win-win attitude and win situation. In synergy, I and you are staying at the same place with different skill set. But we need to understand it. You are having a different skill set and I'm having a different skill set, but we are approaching one same goal. You know, that is where this is required. We need to know that there is no such thing as competition, as problem that we are having with each other. We need to, you know, have a good team to reach a goal. Simple. If you watch any sports, you see there are 11 players. You know, Yunus Khan has recently done a great job.
Yes, 10,000. Yeah.
So there were 10 other players as well who were different from him. So if Ahmad Shahzad is coming at number 1 or 2 and Yunus is coming at number 5 and Ahmad Shahzad thinks that he is better than Yunus, it is wrong. And if Yunus thinks that he is better than Ahmad Shahzad, he is wrong. You are placed somewhere and the other one is placed some other way. So if you are working together to achieve one cause, to achieve result, and you want to win as a team, you need to work together. You cannot be Ahmad Shahzad, you cannot be Yasir Shah, you cannot be Waqar Yunus, you are Yunus Khan and you have to
And then again, that links up with the win-win situation, doesn't it?
Yes,
Because
exactly.
with the synergy, you are actually creating for yourself a conducive environment in which you can grow and progress as well.
Exactly.
So many of
It
these
is actually
habits.
for different departments. If we talk about corporate or an organization, if I'm in from finance department and you are from HR, rather I should say I'm from sales and you are from customer care. In practical, I think I'm the bread earner for the company. You know, I earn a lot. And you, what exactly you do? You just facilitate the customers. You don't bring money, right? And I think you are not serving the organization as well as I do. I'm wrong. I am earning bread. I'm the bread earner for the organization, but you are the one who is controlling emotions of the customers.
Which is very important.
Which is very important.
Yeah.
If you are not there, customers will stop purchasing your product.
So this is all a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it?
It is. It is.
This is a jigsaw puzzle where you've got these different pieces taken out, and then you've got to put them back to create that picture.
Exactly. That is why these are these 6, 7 habits, you know.
Yeah.
You need to have each one of you if you want to be a successful and effective professional.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, habit number 7, sharpen the saw. Tell us about this one.
You know,
sounds scary.
This sounds scary. Yes, exactly. And what is relevant is you need to have work-life balance in your life. What he actually talks about. He wants. He doesn't want you to be an effective professional. He wants you to be an effective human. You need to respect yourself. And organizations, of course, demand dollars from you. That's true. But how much dollars can you earn? You need time and space. What actually matters in the end? Your family, your people. If you are having good relationship with your spouse, you will be a good professional as well.
So
it's simple rule.
Which people fail to realize that they are actually bringing their emotions to work with them.
Exactly.
So a bad session at breakfast, a bit of a quarrel with a family, close family member, you're definitely going to take that negative energy and you're going to take it to work and it's going to somehow find its way to spill over into something.
You're right. Interestingly, a few years back, I was sitting with my wife and I asked her, we have children, alhamdulillah, and she's a wonderful human, one of the best ladies I have met in my life. I asked her what kind of children we want, what we want them to be, good human or the successful ones without values. So this was the question I asked her, and of course I asked myself before asking her. So we agreed to have, to develop them, to train them as children who have values with them. So we wrote a few values on the wall of our room, to be truthful, be honest, respect each other, observe nature's laws, and this sort of 6 values I've written. So the point I wanted to make is, this is what I want them to be. Actually, I want myself to be the one who is following these values. So why I'm doing this, why did I do it? And I'm a professional. I've been working in an organization. I've been an entrepreneur. I've worked as a professional, of course, and I have a career. So I don't want to be known as a successful careerist. I want to be known as a effective human. I want to, have a good interaction with my family.
A good father, a good husband, a good son.
Exactly. And one of them was taking care of health. If I'm having tummy, and that means I am going to have a shorter life than a smart person who is smart enough, who is working on his health. So I need to take care of it. The point I wanted to make is, what he says is, take care of yourself as a package, not as a professional only.
Yes, of course. Because it is, like you said, a package. It's every part of us that we need to nurture.
Exactly.
The spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the physical.
Exactly, the intellectual.
The intellectual as well. I mean, if we're going to be stuck behind a desk all day, and we've got all these things being thrown at us, all these things that we are, you feel sometimes like you're under a mountain. There's so many things to do. So what is that doing for your health otherwise?
Exactly. You want to be a successful human. You want to be remembered as a successful human. You want to live 70 years in this world, and you are not taking care of yourself, right? So that means you are going to go away soon. You need to take care of yourself. So
Okay, now we're going to talk about the cultural relevance,
Yeah.
because as we discussed each and every habit that the author has, outlined here for us, in our family setups, the way we have been brought up, the way we've brought up our children, what do you think are the key factors that we need to work on and change?
Whatever you say, practice it. It is said that don't worry if your children do not listen to you. Worry, they watch you.
Oh yeah, they do.
You don't preach them. Don't tell them to respect others. Respect others. Show them how to do it. So if you are practicing these all things, you don't need to tell your children to do this. As I said, I and my wife developed these all values, and after a month or couple of months, she asked me, "You have written these values for children." I said, "Go on, make a point. Whatever do you want to say?" And she said, "I think you have written all of them for me. Make up for you and for myself as well." We need to show our children how to respect the parents.
Oh, that's so true.
I was telling her, I need to respect you so that our children respect their mother. So this is what we need to do.
In fact,
So
Oprah Winfrey has a quote that the best thing a father can do for his children is to love and respect his wife.
Exactly, exactly. So this is the relevance, Shabnam. If we want to have a good nation, in America there is a school, I forgot the name, who developed their syllabus on these 7 habits of highly effective people. There's a school. So we can do it at home. We can do it at our organization. But first of all, we need to understand what future we want to have, what kind of future we want to have.
That's
so this is what we can do for our generation and for ourselves actually.
And that is really the service that we are doing. And in keeping that, number 2 habit of keeping the end in mind, I think it was the number 2 one.
Exactly.
That is something that I would say that really, really does put things into perspective.
Exactly.
When you think about that.
Yeah.
Fawad, thank you so much for being on the program today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we've been able to talk about so many things that make such a phenomenal change in our lives, and we really haven't thought about them or examined them. So thank you so much for everything that you've told us.
Thank you very much, Shabnam, for inviting me and having me over.
Likewise. Okay, so, we've had a great guest in the studios today. We've had a fantastic book that we've been talking about. If you haven't read this book, do go out and buy it. If you want to, check it out online, whatever it is, have a discussion and discuss things with yourself as well. Are you really getting the maximum out of life that you actually could? Because life is a blessing. We should be grateful for everything that we have. And with those thoughts, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.